Good morning, students. This is 12th standard biobotany video class, video 2. In this video, we are going to continue the lesson plant breeding. Dear students, in the previous video class, we have seen what is organic agriculture, different types of biofertilizer and their advantage, and also we have seen different biofertilizers such as Azolla, Rhizobium, Arbuscular mycorrhizae. Now, in this video, we are going to continue the same topic, biofertilizer, that is seaweed liquefier, seaweed liquid fertilizer, and biopesticides, green manuring, plant breeding and their objectives, different methods of plant breeding, and new technology method in plant breeding. Dear students, this is the first topic, seaweed liquid fertilizer. So this is the short form of SLF. The short form of seaweed liquid fertilizer is SLF. This SLF contains different growth hormones such as cytokinin, gibberellin and auxin. So these type of growth hormones and their physiological activities you already studied in 11th standard. Apart from the plant growth hormones, it contains micro and macro nutrients. So these seaweed liquid fertilizers are produced from the brown alga, that is commonly known as kelp algae, which grows the length of 150 meters. Dear students, so this brown algae or a kelp is an unwanted plants which is grown in the sea, under the sea region or in the seashore region, which contains different types of growth hormones and nutrients. So the length of the brown algae is 150 meter. This SLF is not only organic but also very friendly to the ecosystem. This seaweed, that means brown algae or kelp, which contains alginate. This alginate react with the metals in the soil and form long cross-linked polymers in the soil. So see the diagram, this is the seaweed, giant kelp, belongs to the class brown algae, which contains alginates, react with the metal in the soil and form a long cross-linked polymer. So these polymer which are improving the crumbing in the soil and swells up when they get wet, that means when they are absorbing the water, this cross-linked polymer, it's modified into swell-like structure or swell up and retain their moisture for a long time. So for a long period, it maintaining the water logging capacity. So that is said to be retain moisture for a long time. So this seaweed liquid fertilizer is used for organic gardening, which provides carbohydrate for plants. Not only that, the seaweeds contains more than 70 minerals, vitamins and enzymes. So if you are applying this SLF to the plants which are showing the enormous growth or vigorous growth, and also it produces the plant against insects and pest resistant, and also frost and diseases. Seeds which are soaked in the seaweed liquid extract germinate more rapidly, that means they immediately germinate and develop a better root system. So that is said to be seaweed liquid fertilizer. Dear students, write a short notes on seaweed liquid fertilizer. It's an important 3 mark and 5 mark question. Kindly make a note in your textbook. So next we are going to see biopesticides. Dear students, pesticides means an organic chemical which is produced from the living organism to control the pest. So these biopesticides are biologically based agent. Biologically means it's a living thing. Based agent used for the control of plant pest. So dear students, a 2 mark question. What is biopesticides? Biopesticides are biologically based agent used for the control of plant pest. So these biopesticides are used in the large quantity due to their non-toxic substances, and also it will be very cheaper, and they are eco-friendly compared to the artificial chemical or synthetic pesticides which are produced in the industries or factories. So these biopesticides have an integral component, that means a relationship between the pest management and the environment, and also the integral management between plants and the pest in terms of the environmental and health issues attributed to the use of chemicals in agriculture. So dear students, instead of using chemicals which are produced in the factory or industries, we can able to use the pesticide which is produced from the biological agent to control the plant pest, which is non-toxic, cheaper and eco-friendly when compared to the synthetic pesticides. What is synthetic pesticides? The pesticides which are produced from the factory or industries or man-made pesticides are known as synthetic pesticides. So they are forming integration between the plant which is present in the environment and the pest. So we no need to use the chemicals, that means synthetic pesticides in the agriculture field. So different biopesticides are given here. One of them is the Trichoderma species. It's a fungi which is freely living in the soil and root ecosystem. So it is act as a biocontrol agent. The advantage of Trichoderma is it controls the plant diseases. It increases the, that means ability to enhance root growth development, plant productivity, that means large quantity of plant protection or a crop protection, resistant to the different abiotic stress. What is the abiotic factor? Soil, water, drought, flood, temperature, moisture, pH. These are all the different abiotic stress. So these stress are resistant by biopesticides is known as trachoma, and also it take large amount of nutrients from the soil, and also these nutrients are used by the plant. See the diagram, Trichoderma fungi. It grows on the rocky region. Then a potential biocontrol agent for soil-borne diseases, Trichoderma viridae, which are act as a biopesticides. Then another one, Beauveria. It is a entomopathogenic fungus. Entomo means which is present inner side, and also a pathogenic fungus, that is disease causing fungus, which is naturally grows in the soil all over the world This Beauveria acts as a parasite. What is parasite? Any living thing which lives on the another living thing is known as parasite. This Beauveria naturally present in the soil, but it acts as a parasites on various arthropod species, that means insects, causing white muscardine disease. That means this Beauveria species, which is living on the arthropod insects, causing white muscardine disease without affecting the plant health and the growth. So this biopesticides Beauveria, which are act as a parasite, that means it acts as a parasite on various arthropod insects, causing a disease called white muscardine disease, but without affecting the plant health and growth. It controls the disease which is seen in the tomato caused by Rhizoctonia solani. It also controls damping of tomato. It is a disease which is seen in the tomato plant, which is caused by Rhizoctonia solani. That disease is controlled by a pest is known as Beauveria by producing white muscardine disease on the plant surface without affecting the growth and development of a plant. Dear students, see the diagram. This is the endopathogenic fungus naturally present in the soil. It acts as a parasite, that means which lives on the insect. See the second diagram. Which lives on the insects and form a white color muscardine disease. Okay, so this muscardine disease is produced on the plant pods. It does not affecting the plant growth and health. So likewise, different arthropod. On the top of the arthropod, this Beauveria acts as a parasite and helping the plant against pest. For example, Rhizoctonia, which are causing tomato plant, that disease is prevented by the Beauveria. So this is said to be different types of biopesticides. Beauveria species infected the insect on green plant. Second one, entomopathogenic agent, that means fungi on insects. So these two, Trichoderma and Beauveria, are the biopesticides. They'll ask the question, what is biopesticide and its advantage? So biopesticides are the fertilizers which are produced from biologically useful agent to control the plant pest is known as biopesticides. They are non-toxic, eco-friendly and also cheaper. The two types of biopesticides are Trichoderma and Beauveria. Next we are going to see the topic green manuring. So up to this we have seen seaweed liquid fertilizer, that is SLF, and biopesticides and its example Trichoderma and Beauveria. Next we are going to see the green manuring. So green manuring means Pasundal Uram. In Tamil it is known as Pasundal Uram. This green manuring is defined as the growing of green manure crops and use of these crops directly in the field by plowing. That means a fertilizer, that means manuring means eru, uram அப்படினு சொல்வாங்க. So this manuring is produced from the green manure crops and these crops are used directly in the field by plowing. Plowing means what is that one? ஏர் உழுதல் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறோம் இல்லையா? Yes. One of the main objectives of green manuring is to increase the content of nitrogen in the soil. That is the main advantage of green manuring. They are increasing the nitrogen content in the soil. Why they are increasing? Because nitrogen is in the form of gaseous state present in the atmosphere. Most of the plants, they are unable to fix the nitrogen in the soil. At the same time, they require nitrogen for the growth and development, particularly the formation of chlorophyll pigment. So, these green manuring crops are fixing the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. And also, they are improving the structure and physical properties of the soil. The different green manure crops are Crotalaria gentiana, Tephrosia purpurea, Indigofera tinctoria. Is a 2-mark question. Name some green manuring crops. Example, Crotalaria gentiana, Tephrosia purpurea, Indigofera tinctoria. Kindly make a note in your textbook. Name some green manuring crops. So this green manuring can be practiced by two processes. One is the green in situ manuring or green leaf manuring. First one, green in situ manuring, is refers to growing of green manuring crops in the border rows or as intercrops along with the main crops. That means they are cultivated on the border of the agriculture field, or these green manuring crops are cultivated intercrops along the main crops. That means one row they are cultivating paddy means another row they are cultivating the green manuring crops. That is said to be intercrops along with the main crops. The different green in situ manuring are sun hemp, cowpea, green gram. Another one, green leaf manuring. First one, green in situ manuring means how they are cultivated. They are grown on the border of the agriculture field, or it grown as intercrops along with the main crops. Okay, that is green in situ manuring. Example, sun hemp, cowpea and green gram. Another one, green leaf manuring. This one is known as Pasundal Uram in Tamil. It is the application of green leaves, that means illegal, and twigs of the plants, trees, shrubs growing in the wasteland and field bunds. That means in the field area and also wasteland, different plants, trees, shrub is there. They are shedding their leaves and also plant parts are falling from the trees and shrubs. These are all collected and store it in the one corner. After 1 week or 15 days, it is modified into green leaf manure. So the plants which are used to prepare for green leaf manure are Cassia fistula, Sesbania grandiflora, Azadiracta indica, Delonix regia, Pongamia pinnata. The Cassia fistula அப்படினா, that is said to be சரக்கொன்றை அப்படின்னு பேரு. Sesbania, there is no common name. Azadiracta indica, வேப்பமரம். Delonix regia is another species. Pongamia pinnata, that means புங்கமரம், சோப்பு மரம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, சோப்புக்காய். That is said to be Pongamia pinnata. So this is all the different plant which is used as a green leaf manuring. Dear students, kindly note a difference of green in situ manuring and green leaf manuring. Green in situ manuring means the crops, that means green manuring crops are cultivated at the border of the agriculture field, or it grown as an intercrop along with the main crops. Example, what is that one? Sun hemp, cowpea and green gram. So So Sanam means Sanal அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறோம் இல்லையா, which are getting the jute. That plants are known as Sanem. Cowpea, that is chickpea means கொண்டக்கடலை அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறோம். Cowpea, that means மாட்டுக்கு போடுறது. Okay, then green gram, பச்சைப்பயிர். Okay, so this are all the different green in situ manuring. Another one, green leaf manuring, we are getting from the plants Cassia fistula, Sesbania grandiflora, Azadiracta indica, Delonix regia, and Pongamia pinnata. So this is said to be green manuring. Dear students, in green manuring plants, we are having different questions. First one, name some green manuring crops. 2 mark and 3 mark. Another question, difference between green in situ manuring and green leaf manuring. Okay, so give some example of green leaf manuring. There is another important 2 mark and 3 mark question. Dear students, I hope you have all understood what is green manuring and the 2 process of green manuring. So next, we are going to see the new topic, that is plant breeding. So plant breeding is a branch of botany which deals with the different scientific method to improve the crop varieties with a new variety, high quantity, disease resistant variety, and a drought resistant variety. And also we can able to produce a crop in a shorter duration which is suitable to the particular environment. That is known as plant breeding. So based upon the environmental condition, we are producing new variety of the crop with a disease resistant, drought resistant, and also in a shorter duration we can able to cultivate the crops by using the scientific method is known as plant breeding. Dear students, what is plant breeding is a very important 2 mark question. The answer is, plant breeding is the science of improvement of crop varieties with the high yield, better quality, resistant to diseases, and shorter duration which are suitable to particular environment. So up to environment is the answer. In other words, it is known as, it is a purposeful manipulation of a plant species in order to create desired genotype. That means new variety of a genotype and phenotype for the benefits of human. So why it's said to be for the benefits of human only, using the plant parts for the survival. That means we are depending upon the plants either directly or indirectly for their food material, so this plant breeding is the important method to manipulate the plant species in order to change the genotype and phenotype for the benefits of human. In plant breeding, activities are mainly classified into different types. In the olden days, they are selection, introduction, hybridization, ploidy, mutation, tissue culture, and biotechnology techniques were designed to develop improved crop varieties. So by using the plant breeding method, we can able to produce the new variety of crops, and also we can able to follow the principles of genetic and cytogenetic in the plant breeding method. So different plant breeding methods are selection, introduction, hybridization, ploidy, mutation, tissue culture, and biotechnology techniques. Dear students, sometimes they'll ask the question, what is plant breeding? Write the different methods of plant breeding. So plant breeding answer I already told you, up to environment. The different methods of plant breeding are, the answer is selection, introduction, hybridization, ploidy, mutation, tissue culture and biotechnology techniques. Up to this is the answer for plant breeding methods. So next we are going to see another important 3-mark question. Objectives of plant breeding or aims of plant breeding. So what is the main motto of plant breeding? To increase the yield of a crop and produce the new variety with the desired character, that is known as hybrid vigor. And also the fertility of the crop is also increased. Okay. So fertility means they involve in the reproductive process and produce the large quantity of a new variety. Not only that, the plants which are produced by plant breeding method, those plants are tolerant to the environmental condition. That means different environment condition. They face the environmental changes, salinity. They can able to survive in the salt water also, based upon the temperature, and also even drought condition also they can able to survive. What is a drought condition? Panjo. There is no single drop of water. That is said to be drought. During the drought condition also, some of the plants they can able to survive. Those plants are produced by plant breeding method. And also the plants which are produced from the plant breeding method prevent the prematuring fall of buds, fruits, etc. We all know that one. From the trees, the buds, flowers and fruits are falling from the trees. That is known as abscission, isn't it? You studied in 11th standard. So that abscission process is prevented by producing the plants with the help of plant breeding methods. Then they are showing the synchronous maturity. That means uniform maturity is improved due to plant breeding methods. Then they produce plants with resistant to pathogens and pests. At the same time, they are producing photosensitive and thermosensitive varieties. That means some of the plants unable to show the growth movement in the sunlight. Those plants are known as photosensitive. Another one, thermosensitive. That means some of the plants unable to show the growth movements, the extreme temperature. Those plants are known as thermosensitive plants. So by using this plant breeding method, we can able to develop photosensitive and thermosensitive varieties. So these are all the different aims of plant breeding. Is the important 3-mark question. Dear students, up to this we have seen different topics, that is SLF, seaweed liquid fertilizer, biopesticides with the example Trichoma and Beauveria, then green manure and its process, green in situ manuring and green leaf manuring. And also we have seen what is plant breeding and different methods of plant breeding and objectives of plant breeding. Dear students, I hope you all understood the topic taught in the video. Remaining we will see in the next video class. God bless you. All the best, children.